The other day, my friends, I was on the Alps Mountaineering's website looking at products, basically looking at products that I could potentially review. That's when I came across something very interesting. You may know this, you may not, but the primary colors for Alps Mountaineering is white and blue. I came across a product that is white and red. It looks like an MSR product, but it's not. This here, my friends, is the Stealth one-person bivy tent from Alps Mountaineering. And folks, this is wild. This bivy tent has a design that I've never seen before, and I doubt you have either. And that's why, my friends, we are taking a look at it today. This is a preview, a first look. It's going into testing now. My name is Luke. This is the Outdoor Gear Review. Folks, let's get to it. What you're looking at here is the storage case that comes with this bivy. When you're looking at it, the first thing that pops in your head is first aid kit. A super large first aid kit. What we have here is two-way zippers. In other words, we have two zippers here. On the back side, we have multiple loops so you can lash this to your backpack or whatever you want to. Opening up the bivy, the zipper is very smooth. Here we have the bivy itself. Here we have some tent stakes. And here we have two fiberglass poles. Additionally, we have some instructions here that say do not return this to the retailer. Let's see what we get inside of the cordage bag. So we get some repair material, including mesh, bottom fabric, top fabric. Additionally, we receive 6 tent stakes, but unfortunately they don't have any pulls on them, so pulling these out of the ground could be a chore. It's strange that the company did not include these, even though they have the holes at the top for them. Maybe this was a way to cut corners and a lower cost, or to increase profit margins. To start off here with the setup process, I'm going to stake out the corners at the foot and the head. Now I'm going to move over to the poles here. These are wrapped in Velcro, and that's because these are under tension. You have to be careful here when you're undoing this so that it doesn't hit you in the face or in the eye. In other words, unwrap them slowly and carefully. I just hit the camera. So we have one short one, one very long one. The long one goes up at the head, the short one down at the foot. Looking at the foot box here, you can see that there's a sleeve for the pole to go through. On each side of the foot box here, we have an additional sleeve. On one side, it's sewn off, so all you can do is put the pole in it. On the other side, it has a piece of Velcro, so you can put the pole in from the side and then secure it into place. I will talk you through this side. So we go through the sleeves, which is far more difficult than you think it would be. Or maybe I should say, should be. You push it down into the sleeve that is secured off with both sides sewn. Then on this side, we open up the sleeve with the Velcro. And we put the pole inside of it, securing the Velcro. And now this is hooped. Now we need to stake out the ends. We'll start with the foot box. Pull it out, stake it out. And now we'll come over to this end and, uh-oh, did you all notice this? When I was putting the pole in, I noticed there's no guy lines on this side. At the manufacturing plant, they forgot to attach them. So as is, there's no way to set up this bivy. You cannot make this up, folks. Do not return this item to the retailer. For missing or broken parts, we prefer you send us an email. That does not solve my issue right now. The question is, can I solve this issue right now? Do I have any cordage in the Forerunner at the moment? I don't know. I'll go check. I will be right back. Yes, I did have some cordage in the Forerunner, so I'm going to do a quick fix here. In the future, I will do something more permanent. I'm not going to contact the company for an extra guy line. I can fix this myself. This is rather minor, but it's a big deal. When I opened it with you all, that was the first time that I've seen the inside of that tent. So as is, it did not come with all the components needed to even use it, which is ridiculous. We're looking at the entrance side of the tent. Up here the zipper starts, we have a storm flap and another storm flap that's underneath it. The top storm flap connects to the bottom one with a piece of Velcro. This storm flap extends all the way across the tent. At the footbox we have a vent. Up here at the head we have another vent. Before we go to the inside of the tent, let's focus on the outside, namely at the footbox and up at the head. So this is the stakeout point. We have 3 points here, one on the side, one in the middle for the vent, and we have one at the side. This sort of formation is good for your vent, but it's not the best for an overall setup of a bivy tent. For the very best setup with a shelter like this, you want your guy line point to be up here at the top. Because of this, watch what happens when I pull on this. Watch the center of the tent. It tightens up. When you have the stakeout point down low, you put all of the pressure in the middle of the tent instead of the top. So what's going to happen is this. Over time, this material is going to stretch some. It's going to sag some. And you're going to come down here, pull on this, and look, it doesn't fix the issue of the sagging on top. But if we pull up here, it does. The issues with the guy lines are the exact same on the other side of the tent. Now, unfortunately, there's no more placements for guy lines. It would be helpful if there were 2 more, one on each side of the main walls. That way, you can pull the material away from you. That would be of a huge benefit when you're inside of this shelter. I'm not sure how well you all can see this, but this side of the wall here is already pushing into the tent. So if you had a guy line point here and on the other side, you can open up these walls. But as it is, you can't do that. Going to the inside of the tent here. Overall, the zipper for the door is rather smooth. On the inside, we have a bathtub floor, 1 mesh pocket, and again, we have those 2 vents, one at the head, one down at the footbox. What I want you all to pay attention to is the materials itself. You can see, because you cannot guide this thing out properly, the materials are already coming in, they're laying down. And the thing is, these materials are not wet yet. They haven't stretched yet, but they will. So it would be logical to expect the sagging to get worse over time, especially in wet conditions. Let's take a second here, go over some stats, and then we'll measure this bivy. When it comes to the materials, we're looking at a 75 denier 185T polyester fly that features a 1500 millimeter hydrostatic head rating. The floor is a 150D Polyester Oxford that features a 2000 millimeter hydrostatic head rating. We have 2 fiberglass poles, 6 tent stakes, and in this case, only 1 guy line, but we're supposed to have 2. The color is cranberry ash, in other words, white and red. The minimum weight of just the bivy alone is 1 pound 12 ounces. The full weight of this kit is 2.1 pounds. The pack size is 12 inches by 11 by 3 inches. And now, my friends, let's measure this bivy. Let's start off with length. It is 7 feet long. As far as height, up here at the head, 16 inches to be comfortable. Any higher and you would be touching the material. In the middle of the tent, you're looking at roughly 13 inches. And at the footbox, roughly 13 inches as well. As far as width goes, you're looking at roughly 32 inches up here at the head, 29.5 inches in the middle, 22.5 down at the footbox. Getting inside of this is nice and easy because of the step-in design. Without a doubt, we have a ton of space in here as far as length goes. We do have quite a bit of space as far as width goes up here, but the problem is the materials. They're not pulled away from you. So, I mean, just laying in this, the materials are touching me. Zipping myself up. When I'm inside of this, zipped up, if I'm careful, I could stay away from the wall material, but just barely. If it was windy, the materials would be hitting me. And if there was condensation inside of this, I'd be soaked. Now, when I'm inside of this, I see one huge problem. That problem is that there's no mesh up here. So let's say that you needed to seal yourself up to stay away from bugs, to keep out the mosquitoes. You have to seal up the fly. That's your only choice. There's no mesh up here for your head. So you have to seal this up, and all of a sudden, it goes from like 60 degrees to 100. Yes, there is some ventilation at the foot, up here at the head, but it's not enough. I'm really surprised to see this, because the lack of mesh up here at the head greatly limits the use of this product. As far as stats and features of this bivy, that's pretty much it. The price of this is $120, but you can find it on sale for $100 on Amazon. That's what I paid for it. The company states that this is the Stealth 1, which is a lightweight option for backcountry experiences. The shelter is made from durable materials, allows you to pack lighter, travel further, while still offering you a bug and rain-free experience. Okay. Bug-free, if you want to maybe possibly die in it. It really would depend on the conditions, of course. If it was a muggy night, a warm night, that'd be tough, folks. It really would be, because there's no way to vent. Yes, you do have the two smaller vents, but you really need one for your face so you can feel that cool air, and also so you can ventilate moisture. But with this bivy, you can't do that. It's either all or nothing with this shelter, meaning the door has to be shut or the door has to be open. There's no in between, and that's a big shame. The step-in design allows you to kick off your boots and step in. That is true. I do like that feature, but at the same time, there's an issue with that design. Because of the step-in design, because of the way that the fly opens up, getting in and out of this during a rain event is virtually impossible. You can do it, but you're going to soak the inside of this shelter, and that's a big problem. That's why your traditional bivy is a crawl in. You can crawl in, crawl out, and everything on the inside stays dry. The next point that I want to bring up is more of a question. Why does the company call this the Stealth 1? I honestly do not know. There's not a single thing about this tent that screams stealth, not unless you're camping on the snow next to a cranberry bush. Now folks, I did not come up with that. Ashley on Patreon did. She's very clever. And also very funny. To be more specific, not a single thing about this tent screams stealth camping or anything like that. So why the company calls this the Stealth 1, I have no idea. Without a doubt, it sticks out like a sore thumb. With that being said, I don't mind the color combination. White and red, it's not bad. I wouldn't use it for stealth camping purposes, but in general, it's not bad. As far as the storage case goes, I do like that. But again, it looks like a gigantic first aid kit. Space inside of the bivy is very limited. The company calls this a bivy tent. This is more of a bivy. And as far as this being a hooped bivy, this is on the poor side as far as the overall design of the shelter goes. When you're inside of this shelter, the material basically lays right on top of you, and that's going to be a problem, especially when you're inside of your sleeping bag, because your sleeping bag will come into contact with the walls. So if you're inside of this, you're sealed up, condensation will be a problem. There's no way to avoid this. Your sleeping bag is going to get wet. Moisture is going to be an issue with this shelter. At the same time, there's no mesh at the front, so you cannot ventilate at nighttime. You cannot protect yourself from bugs unless you are fully zipped up. Again, that's a big problem for this shelter. That's just one aspect that really does make this hooped bivy rather poor as far as design goes. Setting it up is super simple as long as you have all of the components. Alps Mountaineering, come on guys, get your shit together. This is unacceptable. Other companies are out there producing better quality tents, better materials at a lower cost, and they're not forgetting important components. Again, Alps Mountaineering, you could do better than this. As far as the quality goes, I'm impressed. There's no issues here. Everything looks good, the stitching looks good, seam tape looks good. That does not mean that this bivy will not leak. Stay tuned, I will find out soon enough. As far as weight goes, this is certainly not ultra light. You have to figure in to use a bivy like this adequately, you will need some sort of protection over the top of you, such as a tarp. Once you factor in the weight of the bivy, once you factor in the weight of the tarp, this is moderately light. But if you're looking for lighter, there is certainly lighter weight options out there. My concerns for this shelter are, of course, airflow, condensation. Those are my big worries. I am concerned about it being waterproof. I have had some issues with Alps Mountaineering tents in the past, so we will have to test this out for those three main areas: airflow, condensation, waterproofness. Stay tuned to the channel because I will take this out soon enough into a rain event and we will see how well it performs. I will do the test without a tarp over the top. That way I can test out whether or not this is waterproof. But with that being said, with this product, if you decide to purchase this, I would use it only for very calm, somewhat cool, and also dry conditions. If there's even a chance of rain, get yourself a nice tarp to go with it. Before I wrap up this episode and say goodbye, I just noticed this. So with the door partially open, let's say that you're inside of this one evening, you're about to go to bed, you have this open so you can have some good airflow. Look at the materials here. They are sagging down on top of you. Definitely, without a doubt, this material would be right on your sleeping bag, and that means condensation. Again, there's no way to pull these materials out, so they just simply sag down. This is a hoop bivy that is more than likely going to offer the performance of a regular bivy. So the question becomes, why not go with a traditional bivy that's lighter weight, that you can actually use in the rain without the inside getting wet? These are important questions that you need to consider, especially if you're thinking about purchasing this product. For my first look of this bivy, the Stealth one from Alps Mountaineering, I am done. I have to say that this has been a very disappointing start to the ultimate review of this product. The fact that components are missing from the get-go, that's a shame, a big shame, especially when you consider the price of this. This is only a bivy made from polyester, but yet this costs $100, retail $120. That's a lot of money for something this small, made from these inexpensive materials. It's a lot of money for a product that's this poorly designed. I have a video on my channel here called The Truth About Bivvies that I highly recommend that you check out if you're inexperienced when it comes to this type of shelter. Naturally, I've used a ton of these bivvies over the years, tons of different designs. Make sure to check out that episode for a lot of information on how to use them, when not to, the pros and cons, and the points that you need to consider before you buy one. There is a time and a place for a bivy, and there's also a ton of situations where they do not work well. So be safe, be smart, check out that video. All right, folks, I am done for now. Make sure to comment down below, share your thoughts. What do you all think about the Stealth 1? The Stealth 1 bivy tent. It's more of a bivy. Nothing about it is stealth. The design is okay at best. Stay tuned because my testing will be coming up very soon. I plan to do an overnight adventure with this. I'm going to test it out in the rain. We'll see together how well it performs. Yeah, wish me luck. Wish me luck, folks. Everybody, be safe, be good, strength and honor. Bye for now.